I don't know. I think working for a weapons manufacturer is just fine. You know, if you got to pay your bills, it's no big. Oh, hey, welcome back to the Imaginarium. I'm Mr. Hooper. Thanks for joining us today as we re-enter Inherited Earth. Today we have a new provisional Monster Marshal and a short crew. This is actually going to be our steady crew. This is our cast as it stands. We are quite pleased. Let's all give a big welcome, because we didn't really do this last week when we played Morkborg. Welcome to Kaylee, who will be Noodles. Thank you for joining us, Kaylee.
Welcome.
So, when we last left our Monster Marshals, they had just conquered an enemy, freeing the people of Theodore, Illinois. Yes, fictional Theodore, Illinois. Suspend that disbelief. From servitude towards the vile gatekeepers, who were assisted by a group of mercenary hobgoblins. This had been their friend, our Monster Marshal's friend, Markesh's former cohort. Markesh failed to obtain the vengeance he was looking for against this vile usurper, as Fulcrum escaped on an attack Chaupa. After that, they don't really remember much. And if you go and recap last year's season finale, you'll understand that that's fairly significant. But we'll get back to that in due time. As it stands now, Lily, Judith, and Nasha have all gone their separate ways from this group of Monster Marshals, as they, along with Lou and Noah, have been licensed to fully operate as Monster Marshals.
I was trying to flash a badge or something, but we didn't really get one.
Tattoos.
No, you got tattoos.
Oh, right. Forgot. I have so many now.
So while they are off adventuring, our two possibly forlorn souls here have been hanging around the town of Theodore, Illinois for the last month as the citizens recover and rejoice, and at times rally around the comforting presence of not the mayor, not any sort of true, what's the word I'm looking for, political leadership, but to a certain degree, the town's beneficiary, benefactor, whatever you want to call it, Ted, the mysterious Ted, who you might have some vivid memories of from last season. So, before we get to any grand entrances, what have Noah and Lou been up to? Elaborating on.
Yeah. Noah has mostly been hanging out in the town, helping rebuild the health of the people in the town. Many have been working in the mines for quite some time, and so might not be in the best health. I'm helping treat any injuries, illness, all that kind of stuff, alongside Hannah's mom, correct?
Yes, Hannah's mom.
Yes.
And of course, that would be Sister Hannah of the Sisters of Song and Knowledge, who the Monster Marshals escorted to Theodore, which is Hannah's hometown. Lou.
Yeah. So, yeah. I've actually been working pretty heavily on this skate park. We've invested a lot of time. It's down at the old elementary school's tennis courts, which apparently they weren't using for 60 years before the whole thing happened. So they're just like flat areas with a few weeds. Anyway, it was pretty easy to clean it up and get like some pipes and a couple rails and other skateboard terms that I totally know. And it just kind of came together. The kids started riding and getting healthy, after being, so depressed for so long with their families being torn apart by that a very recent tragedy. It's only been a month, they're not cured, but at least they can skate.
Nice. And Noodles, what has Noodles been up to after having departed Chicago, discovering that their conveyance has gone missing?
Well, I've been making my way down, preaching the good word of the big boom, as my visions told me, trying to spread out that knowledge. And fortunately, one night, got, a little bit carried away, a little too enthusiastic as it might be. And when I kind of woke up the next morning, my car was just gone. So I've continued on foot looking for someone to help me get my freaking car back, because that thing is special to me.
A gift from the heavens, if you will.
And Mom.
And naturally. Goblin moms, very attentive. Just because they let their children run off into the forest at about 2 months old with a sharp object and maybe a diaper does not mean that goblin moms don't care.
I had my tattoo. They know where to get me back.
Exactly. Noodles hails from a clan of goblins that center and live around the big shiny bean made by that lovely individual sitting in Chicago Park, or a park in Chicago. I am not cool enough to have visited Chicago yet, so I couldn't tell you exactly where. And Noodles has quested off into the wild green and blue and many different colors yonder to find her conveyance, which is basically a giant mechanized hamster ball that fell from the sky, and has found her way, having heard on the wind that there are very helpful individuals southward in Theodore, Illinois, that might be able to help her track down her special friend, her special mechanical friend. Now, Noodles is not necessarily acquainted with our other goblin friends that we met last year.
Yeah,
They were fun.
it'd be a horrible thing to assume.
That's true. You can't make assumptions in this world. And now it is a warm, rainy Wednesday in Theodore, Illinois, in late September, a month on from our last adventure. What are we doing? Since we ended with Noodles, let's start with Noodles.
All right, so I'm have I heard any reports of where these two individuals might be found?
They're almost famous in this town.
Okay.
One of them, the pretty one, is known for having personally infiltrated the dastardly camp of the mercenary hobgoblins and then liberated the laborers there. The fun one is known to have participated in the battle, as well as been personally present when those prisoners were liberated, including having operated some machinery at the end of the hall, part of the mine, and liberated a gentleman known as Uncle Ted, who is just, he's a local character. In past times, he would be considered, he would have been the equivalent of an eccentric millionaire, but a friendly one, an actual helpful one, one who actually spends their riches on assisting those, not just close to him, but just people who need it. And this is a town that established itself within the last 60 years, under the pressure of this post-apocalypse. So Uncle Ted has been extremely helpful and asks very little. In fact, hosts movie nights of classic films, which is the only kind of film now, from anywhere from 60 to 100 years ago at the mine, hearkening back to something the older people call a drive-in. But for the most part, they kind of drift around town. Actually, why don't you go ahead and just give me an investigation roll or investigation-like?
Okie dokie. All right, I am actually. Oh, I thought I was good at that, but I'm not. I am not good at that at all.
Okay, so
that's a full four.
It's been fairly hard to nail down the locations of either of these people. It's a small town, but it's a small town of about 1,500 people total. There's quite a bit of commotion socially going on right now. So people get lost in the shuffle, even in this small, village, basically. You do know that that one of them, again, the pretty one, tends to frequent one of the nicer older houses owned or occupied by a couple who is apparently the parents of one of the sisters of song and knowledge, Hannah. Another one, well, the other one, just kind of does his own thing. He's a little bit harder to nail down in general.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and stalk the pretty one. Noodles knows, as a smaller statured individual of around just under 3 feet tall, she knows that it's important to make an entrance. So she's going to do her best to remain unseen until she can catch both of them together.
Naturally. Okay, so we're going to go counterclockwise, which means nothing to y'all. But Noah, what are you doing right now?
What time of day is it about?
5 p.m.
Yeah, otherwise I would have been sleeping. Yeah, so after a day of, treating to the sick and the wounded and everything, where have I been mostly staying at night?
Well, okay, so there is, of course, Hannah's parents' house, and then there is a bar. There are many residential buildings just off of the street. This is very much like an old West town. All the businesses are mainly along a main street. There are also residents above. The bar is much more like an inn. There's a pharmacist, chemist shop. It's also a barber shop that both of you have been to. Both you and Lou have been to. You've shopped there. Many of these businesses are also dwellings, but then there are, family dwellings, single dwellings that just kind of spread off of that, as well as some, small farm properties that are really quite close. So it's up to you, really.
Right. Let's see. So has there been like an abandoned house that we've kind of moved into? Would we be able to find something like that? Or would I be able to find something like that? Or would I be mostly crouch surfing along my celebrity?
It would be something like that. You might not have to. You might not have to switch couches every Friday or Wednesday in our case. But yeah, you've been kind of living off the largesse.
You mean there isn't something like, well, this is the house where our last doctor lived, and they're all because he died, kind of murder vibes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stay in that place.
Yeah, no, there's no Dr. Murder haunted houses.
Okay, well, that could be fun, but Okay, so I'll probably just be down at the bar.
Having a drink, see, or
Having a drink,
foodsie.
yeah.
Ah, there you go.
It's been proven several times that that never goes wrong when I get drunk in a bar.
It's worked out well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We're
then,
still alive.
yes, and have all of your digits and limbs.
Yeah.
It's a big deal in these times. Lou, what do we think?
To be honest, I think he's probably. It's a rainy day, It's not good for skate. You're just gonna kick your board out from under you like a fucking idiot. So I'm hanging around the bar. I'm just keeping Noah company.
All right.
I think it's the kind of day where we're taking it easy, or at least Lou is.
Taking it easy.
Lou's taking it easy.
Yeah,
Noah's taking it easy.
The kids are all over at the schoolyard anyway. Like getting lessons from whoever they're getting lessons from. I don't know. It's fine.
Still the sisters.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Wow, I knew that.
Let's see here. Okay, well then, so this bar it's really structurally it's very similar to Spanky's bar. There's, you've got a nice, actually it's really not a nice bar back or actual physical bar. It was definitely put there ad hoc 60-ish years ago, 50 years ago, and has just been kind of improved. It's the bar top is a solid piece of wood, which is good. But the rest of it is kind of still, you can see where it was maybe the first building set up in this town, the first business. It is in a hardwood floored storefront, so you got that going on. If anybody's got, if anybody comes in with spurs or boots, you get that classic. And it does have some batwing doors behind a roll down cage door. But these are most of the buildings in this town are cinder block or molded concrete, actually. So just to give you kind of a visual concept, anybody at home any of our junior marshals, welcome back, can Google brutalism. That's what a lot of the buildings look like. It's that flattened concrete. It's industrial, but this isn't necessarily an aesthetic choice. This is practicality. Many of the buildings have multi-floored basements. This is the Midwest-ish, and disaster has occurred. This town was essentially built after the cataclysm, after the cross rip, by some of the people that still live here, in fact. The bartender is just kind of a normal dude, a regular guy. Not really, just Joe post-apocalypse, just chilling out. Not really much to him. No nefarious, tendencies. In fact, this person, fairly gentle. You almost think that this is the kind of guy who would have, gone into a medicine adjacent field before, the end times or before the cataclysm. Somebody who cares.
His name Jackie Daytona.
Jackie I'm actually left out of that media reference. I'm not an interesting person, and I don't watch.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just the kind of guy who will definitely listen to your problems as a bar patron, but their best piece of advice and reply is usually like, "Wow, man, that's wild," and you want another drink? And that's about all this guy's really got for you. Generally pretty nice. You walk in, you're wearing something cool, you get a compliment, but kind of just business nice. What are y'all drinking?
Vodka soda with a splash of cranberry.
Lou's just having a ginger ale.
Keeping it crisp today, huh?
Yeah, he had a late night and his stomach's been feeling funny all day. Just having a ginger ale, keep it cool.
What was Lou doing with his night? Has Lou met any
No, I mean, no, not in town, man. They're not. They're not interested. I found like this long stretch of highway down a slow hill that was just nearly uncracked all the way down. It was beautiful. I just kept climbing up and down, riding it all night.
sore legs? All right, up a
Oh,
little
yeah.
late. Had a couple beers once you got home.
Oh, well,
settled
no, I
quite
mean,
right, and
every
now
time
it's
I
time
would
for ginger
finish a
ale.
run, I had to have a beer and crawl back up. It got harder.
Naturally. So yeah, I definitely need some ginger ale for the tummy and the rubber legs. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, unlike Spanky's and even unlike Duke's, I believe it was, back in Murfreesboro, there's no jukebox. There's no music in here. So there's just a low murmur of background conversation from a couple locals chilling out, having a talksy, and the sound of clinking glasses as your bartender, cleans one and puts it away. Noodles.
I am going to be like hiding outside the door, and I'm going to go. I have a plan, and I don't think it is best carried on inside because I have some care for the public good. So I'm going to stand at the door and I'm going to go, psst, psst, Marshals, good looking one, funny one, come out here, psst, come out here. And then I'm going to go back and hide and hope that they've heard me and will feel like up to investigating mysterious whispers.
Is the roof leaking again?
Wouldn't surprise me.
A bartender stops and
Yeah.
Sneak back, louder, Marshals!
I guess I've rolled an 8 on my perception. I could probably hear you at this voice level. Whoa!
Gonna come outside. Sneak back to my hiding spot.
It's raining.
there's an awning or an overhang, an eave.
Clear earlier.
It's raining now, man. Come on. Have a smoke.
I don't smoke.
No, you're a doctor. That's right. Yes, I'll have one.
Do you want someone to talk to outside?
Yeah.
It's like, let's go. Come on.
Sneak back. Luckily aided by the fact that as under 3 feet tall, I'm kind of under most people's sight line. Come out, look, please, just come outside. Just let me do this, okay? Come on, please.
They want the subtlety, man. Come on.
All right.
Yeah, let's have a smoke. Let's go outside get some air. Yeah,
Todd, the bartender. Do you know any goblins?
Yeah, we know a couple.
I mean, kind of, yeah. Like, we're not
Yeah.
great friends with them, but yeah, we know some goblins.
Have you been
Not
telling? Have you been telling goblins they're not allowed in my bar?
No.
I haven't met a
No.
goblin since we've been here. No.
Well, go tell that one. We don't discriminate here.
Cool. That's dope.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
We once went to a bar that discriminated, and then it didn't
Yeah.
after we went there.
That's right.
Because
They
that's
did.
what we do. Yeah.
That is so. It's good that you're on this side.
We
of the
like
line.
you. Yeah. Good guy. Okay, yeah, we'll go.
Oh
see the
yeah.
goblin.
We're going
Yeah,
outside.
yeah, yeah.
We're going outside.
Yeah, okay, I'll be hiding. And as soon as they come out, I throw a smoke grenade, a smoke screen.
Okay.
And then I set it up so as you see this giantly magnified silhouette of the smoke of this goblin figure for a moment appears like 8 feet tall.
Oh shit.
And then oh, okay. I hope that looked cool. that wasn't nearly as good an idea as I thought.
That's cool.
I thought it looked pretty cool. Yeah.
That was a strong
And
entrance.
from the smoke, you see a 3-foot tall figure. She has a mane of hair, and it is every color, locks every color of the rainbow. She is wearing cargo pants, a red hangly shirt with a bulletproof vest over it. And you can see, if you look closely around the collar, you'll see a clerical collar around her neck. And a pair of Prince Nez spectacles just kind of perched on her nose. Sorry about that. Are you guys okay? Can you breathe okay? Oh God, you're not asthmatic, right?
No, it's good stuff.
No, we're good. We're good.
Sorry, I'm used to needing an extra edge to get people's attention. Big people. I heard that you were like some kind of do-gooders.
I mean, some good's been done.
I guess, yeah.
Some bad's been done, to be
You
fair.
gotta help
A
me.
little bit, yeah.
You gotta help me. My car has been stolen.
Where's your car, dude?
A couple days to the west. Well, I'm kind of a prophet sort of thing. Not really important right now, but I represent the Church of the Big Boom. It's new.
Okay.
Sounds new.
Yeah. I had a vision of the whole thing. I don't really want to get into it right now, but I have a really cool car. All right. Really cool. You guys ever heard of pin blitzball?
Pin blit ball?
Yeah. So a couple of the clans in the area, we have some special cars.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we've seen some of their modified vehicles.
No, I don't think you've seen this one. It's a ball.
Dope.
Like for basketball, you notice that Todd is poking his head out the door.
Do you remember those pre-cataclysm creatures? You know, the hamsters they called them.
I haven't heard of
Kept them as pets. They were like rats, but they were cuter and didn't have tails. And
oh yeah, I heard of a guy who got eaten by a pack of hamsters once.
They were small.
No, I thought that was rabbits, though.
Oh yeah, I think
also
I heard that
small,
too.
but I think it's a lot of them, though. I think it's the number.
Yeah. Well, this guy, back before they used to keep them as pets, and they'd have these clear round balls, and they put the hamster in the balls, and then they could roll around everywhere safely.
Oh, cool! Teach them to drive. Dope.
We have that, but with guns.
With guns.
Hey, gun. They kind of, but we use them. We use them to play a sort of special little sport.
What was it again? Pit bite ball?
Pin blitz
What?
ball.
Pin blitz ball. Pin blitz ball.
Pinball.
Pin blitz
Yeah,
ball.
like it's hey, it's there is like a machine. It's like a box with glass on top, and had some buttons on the side, and you'd press the buttons, and this silver ball would go bouncing around off these other things in there and make a bunch of noise, and then you get some points. And usually, like, you know, guys would play it. They'd like these. So what I heard is these guys in leather jackets and like really cool hair would, you know, they'd play this game, and then like ladies would hang out, and then like, you know, pinball. It's cool. It's cool guy stuff.
It's like that, except the whole thing takes place on like a hillside, and the balls are small vehicles that have goblins inside them.
Cool.
Yeah. So I was out preaching the good word of fault explosions, and my car got jacked.
Is your car a pin blitz ball?
Yeah. It's I call it the hamster ball. It's very special to me.
It sounds special.
So I got a
Yeah.
question. Do you have a leather jacket, and how do you get the girls in the ball?
Oh, you get the girls out. The girls watch you when you're in the ball, and then when you get out, they're like, hey. They
Right.
also took my leather jacket.
Wow.
And Todd looks very confused and contemplative as he just kind of backs through the Batwing doors back into the bar.
No,
I mean, you wanna come inside?
She would have put her hand across across his shoulders if she could in any way reach them. Girls and guys, they like the cool tricks.
I get that. Like Power Man.
Yeah. So here's the deal. You help me get my car back. I'll hang out with you. I can either help you get ladies or gents or whatever as to your preference, or I can just throw grenades at people you don't like.
Oh
So
man,
basically, Lou.
I've been actually looking to get out of grenades. Remember all the problems I was having with like the blood and the bodies and stuff?
Yeah.
I'd like to get out of that.
I will happily take any grenades that you don't want. Are the good ones.
Oh, I mean, I'll hold on to the ones I've got, just for reasons.
Well, I mean, would you like to hear the word of the big boom?
It does what we say actually matter, because you seem like you're probably going to tell us anyways.
Well, I mean, you're going to hear it eventually, so it depends on whether you'd like to hear it now and get it over with, or wait till you're a little more drunk.
I think the second one.
I
but
vote the
come
second
inside.
option. Yep.
Come
Okay,
inside.
go later.
No, come inside.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, later tonight we're gonna be drinking.
I mean, I'll come in. I'll wave any lingering smoke away.
It is
Yeah, but
saturated
those-
into your clothing. You smell like 4th of July because of the humidity from, in general, but also the rain. It's just soaked in.
Do you have the booster seat?
It's just a very tall, it's a very tall bar stool that's got
Yeah.
some ladder rungs on it.
yeah,
Lou
it's cool.
chooses the
It's climb
smallest
away.
bar stool and pulls it up alongside to try and balance it out.
Thank you. Climbing is
Oh,
hard.
and having this tiny bar stool makes sense because some of the, if you need a refresher, there were the lizardy boys that were hanging out in the mines and working there before, and they are quite friendly with the population here in town. They don't necessarily, you've learned that they don't necessarily travel into town very much, but they occasionally do. They're not big party folk, but occasionally, they visit one business or another. And clearly this is a booster seat for these tiny barking lizardy boys.
Yeah, I was thinking, those plastic ones that they have for toddlers that you strap to the chair.
Oh yeah, no, kobolds are not a cultural afterthought for these people. Like they're like, oh yeah, these are our friends. They live here. Yeah, like we just let's
So I imagine this chair also is backless then to accommodate for tails.
Okay. Yeah.
In case they fall off the back of it later.
Yeah.
It's the kind of world building I'm here for. Got to make sure that they don't have backs on those tails. Backs on the chairs for those tails. I love it.
Or
But
it
it does
very
spin.
high back with a large gap.
Yeah.
Well, now I have 4 directions I can fall off the bar stool with.
That's true. Let's try to make sure you don't get that far.
Let's play the board. All right. Yeah, that's kind of how I got in this mess in the first place. So
So,
Oh, so you drink way too much and make bad decisions and are late to things and lose things?
Todd.
occasionally, I mean,
Yeah. You'll fit in great.
I'm a rum and coke, rum and whatever, something sweet.
Sarsaparilla. There are no brand names
Yeah, but
in the far
I mean,
future.
from
we probably
Sarsaparilla.
would still call it coke, like we'd still call cell phones. I have not personally made a phone call in the last 3 calendar months, so
Yeah. Okay. So, Todd. So you make mistakes. Yeah. What are you drinking?
what was I drinking then or now?
Now.
Now, give me something sweet.
And he wanders. Like not a lot of mixer going on. And
Yeah, you got some fruit juice?
no, but we do have a slaver problem. And it keeps going.
Okay, can you get whiskey? Got whiskey.
Oh, right. Yeah, got that. Okay.
They do have that.
Yeah. Does the thing. Looks
I'm
at
sorry
you.
I finished the last ginger ale.
that was the last ginger ale in the world, period.
I finished it.
The
Sorry.
Omega Ale.
I liked it.
Well, you do know that there will be another shipment of goods in a few weeks. The one shipment of goodies has come into town since your daring rescue of the people. Walter, who you met last season, who was with the Winders, very promptly after your triumph, was able to head on up to Chicago and get in touch with the other Winders and start trying to get things moving. And very shortly after he left, a shipment of goods and whatnot came in. As a matter of fact, all of the booze in this bar came with Walter and the Winders when they returned.
To Walter and the Winders.
That's a good band name.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is a good band name.
Damn.
Well, what they said is that they wanted to hear more about the Big Boom, and a lot of people have been, in fact, very receptive. I think it's a very accessible theology you got going on. But they said that if I could outdrink them,
Whoa.
they'd let me. They'd agree to officially sign up.
What?
That seems like a bad decision.
Yeah, kind of turns out it was that. Just a little bit.
Were they bigger than you?
I mean, almost everyone is. Yeah.
Oh, but okay, so they weren't other goblins or anyone. Yeah, they've got like more room to put it.
You know, that is a good point and something I should have considered.
Well, you know what? I've done the same thing.
I'm good at. The thing is, I'm pretty good at talking my way out of situations. But you know, it's a hard world. Sometimes talking, you need more than that. And that's the part I'm not so good at.
Oh.
So yeah, like, so it was this it was some kind of camp that I stopped at. There were a lot of motorbikes.
Oh.
There were actually a lot of leather jackets, now that I think about it.
They have like this big shitty skull on a lot of things.
DM, I'm making this all up. So did they have a shitty skull?
Now you're gonna pay the price for making shit up. Yes, they did.
Oh
Man.
Yeah.
Fantasy
I hate
Nazis,
those
man.
guys.
Fantasy Nazis are the worst.
What are they called?
Oh, no, they're
Todd
the
comes back.
gatekeepers.
Oh yeah. I definitely know about that.
But you know what?
Yeah,
They know
they're
about
the
us, too.
worst.
Todd has returned. Gatekeepers, huh? Did you kill any of them?
Yeah, good
No. I drank with them and tried to convert them to my religion, and then they stole my car and my jacket.
Yeah. Not killing them. First mistake. Second
Yeah.
mistake.
I see that
Not
now.
killing
Okay,
them.
I got two things going for me. The first thing, which is talking, has failed. So now I'm left with the second thing. And that is high-powered explosives.
Oh,
That's how we have dealt with most gatekeepers we've met.
yeah,
And
they do respond well to those.
I find that those things do.
Mm-hmm.
So, any chance you'd help me get my car back? Like I say, if you need help talking your way out of situations, maybe we can travel together. Like I said, looks like I could use some help with the problems that can't be solved with a clever tongue, and or situations that involve people that might step on me. Literally. I'm not talking figuratively. I'm short.
I love that you improvised and stumbled into one of our characters' triggers of gatekeepers. Because, like, they're literally our least favorite people. So I think I think it'd be fine with me to go deal with some. Help you get your car
Yeah,
back.
we've been here a little bit, I think, too long. We've gotta get moving, I think.
Yeah.
So
Some of
Name
the
some other
kids started
people.
calling me Lou, and it was not cool.
That's your name.
What's your
And
name?
That Lou is his name.
No, but like they have to call me Switchback because it's like my cool name, and they got to know that I'm. But one of them called me Lou, and I'm like, no, man.
At this point, the Batwing doors open up, and there is Sister Hannah in her school marm attire. Am I interrupting a party here?
No, we're just
Oh, dig in.
Would I have met her in my couple days in town?
You have seen her. She's a tall, like stark black-haired, very pale lady, with many tattoos. Most of the time, you can't see them. The school marm outfit is actually kind of a neat suit. It's like business adjacent suit. It's not a skirt suit. It's a full-on pantsuit. And I wouldn't even go a pantsuit. This is she's got kind of a Marlena, like a dark-haired Marlena Dietrich, with tattoos aesthetic going on here. Yeah, and she's clearly a very tough type. She has a gunslinger's holster with a real weird looking pistol. doesn't look unearthly, but it looks like things have been done to it. Like it has been modified.
It's seen some shit.
Yeah. But she is just sweet as pie. This is one of the nicest people you've ever seen. Very helpful to people. But yeah, kind of a sense of authority as well, though.
Noodles is smitten.
She's yes.
We all are.
Yeah. Hannah is a well-known smitist. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Noodles.
Well,
Hi, I'm
yeah.
Noodles.
Someone stole her car.
How do you reach the pedals?
It's sized for me.
It's
It's
a different kind of car, you know?
Well, I'll be.
It's a blitz
So
ball.
you're not. So you're not with the goblins that. How long have you been here?
A couple days. I kind of wandered in on foot after my car got stolen.
So do you know the goblins that are headed this way?
There's goblins headed this way.
Yeah, that's what I was coming to tell these gentlemen.
Do we know them?
I don't know. Does it look like kind of a rave slash dumpster derby?
Mostly
Flash
the
giant barbecue?
most of the dumpster derby, and there's a lot of smoke. So maybe barbecue.
Might
Could
be
be our
seafood,
group. Yeah.
I think it might be our friends, but they are not looking great. You might want to come with me.
I gotta get my. I don't know if I could go out there without my car.
You
Come on, Noodles. We got you, man.
came here without your car.
Do you have another smoke grenade? That was my
Yeah.
last one.
I got a couple smoke signals. You might be able
She,
to.
Hannah walks calmly over to you, Noodles, and kind of squats down to as close as she can get to your height, and very sincerely, honey, I don't think they're gonna be too concerned with appearances and panache right now.
Oh my god. We gotta go right now. Man, a goblin who is not concerned with panache is a goblin that is 2 steps from death.
And that is our break time right there.
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum.
Well, no one told me what to do. I'm making it up.
Yeah.
That's the phrasing of somebody who hasn't seen the show.
Okay. I mean, there are many jokes, but like,
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
are we back? We're
And
back.
another thing.
And another thing. All right. And now you are at a low hilltop, not the hilltop from which you all approached last season. You have gone to a hilltop, and Sister Hannah has led you there in her sensible low top boots, and is pointing towards what appears to be a limping towards town Goblin Death Rally caravan. And there are no explosions. There's no glider. There's just the vehicles, some of which are billowing more smoke than last time you saw them.
Oh no. They partied too hard. We got to get down there.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
Boomer isn't even, she's just running as fast as her little legs can carry her, which is luckily probably a normal walking pace for these guys.
Well, I hop on a skateboard and I get down there in no time.
I am going to try and jump on the back of your skateboard as you go by.
Hell yeah, I'd accept that. Absolutely.
There are
How could I help?
anatomical
Go on,
preclusions
pick
here.
me up. I will
So
show
you're more-
pick me up at you as you near.
There we go.
I give you like a grab and swing onto the shoulder like a backpack.
Hell yeah, I am on his back going because I still have my panache.
Yeah, that's about a 50-pound, significantly larger than a badger.
Yeah, make me roll for it. I'll do it.
No, we're not going to roll for it right now.
I will be moving towards them, but at a reasonable pace because I know that vehicles are much faster than us. So even me running towards them isn't going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah, but only marginally. I mean, they are not moving fast. They are not at their usual go fast. But yes, after a few minutes, couple minutes, you meet up, and these, led by the monster boat, which for Noodles, you see in the lead of this, massive troop of goblins in vehicles. And these vehicles are all cobbled together or restored or rebuilt from cars, scooters, ATVs, occasionally a boat. The monster boat is essentially an entire speedboat that has been mounted on and welded to the husk of a monster truck. So imagine legally distinct Gravedigger or Bigfoot, but the truck part is actually a boat. It's a party boat, but not a yacht.
Party is low now, man.
Yeah, and it's smoking and it is beat up. It is all of these vehicles appear to have most of these vehicles appear to have taken some like high level of abuse, but obviously not the same level as getting exploded during a rally, but they've taken damage, and there is no music thumping forth from any of them, especially including the monster boat. You do see, once you draw near Noodles, you see sitting in a bucket in a captain's seat on the back of the monster boat, a Catman.
Catman.
And
Forgot his name.
And Tormund, and he's wearing a sling, like a homemade sling on his arm, and you can see that the arm itself is wounded underneath that and probably bandaged up within the sling. He is kind of slowly and subduedly pumping his fist in the air, doing a little bit of this, but he's not at full tilt.
She got to give like kind of like a how like an SOS like check-in, but with devil's horns.
Right. And this Catman dismounts from the boat, from the seat, and kind of clumsily rolls over to the side onto one of the massive tires, and then dismounts from there, and just kind of looks at Noodles and goes, "Mel," and then
Noodles F of the bean. Can I help you at all? What happened?
Mel, and
Oh, come on, you gotta give me more than that.
next you hear, "Yeah, Torvald ain't in much of a partying mood," as Stax, the greaser leader of the goblins, slings down a rope ladder and climbs down out of the truck, the cockpit of the monster boat, because there is still an actual truck cab there in order to operate this vehicle. Otherwise you lose the wheel, and these goblins are not putting all of that effort into modifying their stuff. And he comes limping around the side of the front and out. "Yeah, we had ourselves a bad party, it looks like." And you see that he's got like a length of wood acting as a splint for his left hand.
Dang, man. No, Noah, you should look at this shit.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to. Come here, let me see what's going on there. And I am going to try and heal him up.
Okay. Yeah, do your test.
You better get an A, bro.
Ooh, that is good. So that's a 27 on my medicine.
You're able to. He's not willing to. Stax is not willing to lay down. I mean, it's muddy out here, and he's got his jacket.
Yeah.
No mud on the jacket. But he does lean up against the kind of squat and lean up against the tire of his of the monster boat, which of course also has mud on it. But don't ask where the cognitive dissonance there works. And lets you do your thing. And you notice that this wound is very, very clean, not in terms of the cut or the actual, wound itself, but in terms of like, there doesn't appear to be any infection, any bacterial inflammation. It's not swollen beyond what you would imagine just for something that's been hurt. So there's none of that red, nasty stuff that itches around the wound. No smell, anything like that. And it has been several weeks since you've seen these guys. So just as a reminder. But all of that tracks with the fact that goblins are very, 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 they're not immune, but very resistant to infection and disease and certain types of what's the word I'm looking for? How do you call it? S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît. Can't remember the word right now. It's a good one. It's a big one. It's even in my goblin description. So, but I've forgotten it. But yes, basically you can tell that there's no infection here. It is what appears to be a bite wound and a break. And
did you guys find that dragon you were looking for?
Kinda. Wasn't no dragon though, which I guess in the circumstances is pretty good. They're a little you know, testy. But Wilf wanted to fly with the storm and meet the dragon. Well, we found the storm. Wasn't no regular storm. And the dragon, well, if there ever was one there, that wasn't it. It was a big bird. It was trying to fight the storm.
Whoa.
They tried. We lost Wilf. Line snapped. And she just hopped on the bird's back. It was amazing. They were like, you know, those big ladies with the pointed, you know, and the wings.
Valkyries?
Like a Valkyrie.
Ah, yeah, one of those.
I don't know what that is, but Noodles does.
It was like she was like
They're
a Valkyrie
just and
riding
hot.
on the back of this bird with the thunder and the lightning and all those things falling from the sky. It was amazing. Rest of us got torn up. I'm proud of her. We gotta have a. And just as he starts to say, party, slumps over, passed out.
Oh.
Can I do an insight check to figure out what is like? Because frankly, to Noodles, that sounds all like it was really amazing. But despite his words, do I believe him?
Yeah, go ahead and do an insight check.
That's a natty one.
It sounds way too cool to believe.
You don't believe a word of it.
Yeah, for those watching at home, I did just eat that D20 across my apartment, and I did not give a shit.
Yeah, to Noodles, this sounds like you've heard plenty of goblins brag about winning fist fights with elves and suplexing, you know, crazy orcs, and this just sounds about that cool. So you're having a lot of trouble believing. And Tormund, the cat man, with his good hand, Mel, thumbs up.
Wow. So, like, the storm was the problem? Or is it still raging?
Well, and you look off in the direction, realizing that the storm, remembering back to this fact that there was a storm on the horizon constantly to your east as you were traveling north about a month and a half ago, and that was the storm that the goblins were headed off towards. It's been gone for a while. Whatever this is, this rain, this is just natural fall hot rain in this part of, you know, the former United States. And yeah, as you look off into the east towards the horizon, you don't see a storm there. Like, it is, I mean, however many miles out that you can really see, it does actually clear up in that direction. What you're experiencing right now will clear up briefly, probably, but that is gone. And one of the little kind of pug resembling goblins that you met last time, not the one that was working on Judith's car, but another one, the one with the completely oversized scoped pistol. Yeah, it was a big one. We were real impressed at first. She just flew up in there. She had her blades on and her helmet and her goggies. And the bird was right there looking cool. And there was all the lightning and all the rain. But the rain was red. And the lightning had things in it. And when it hit the ground, there were more things. And at first it was fun. We just drove right through them. But the ones up in the air, they were bigger. That's what the bird was fighting. Bird was just tearing them apart. It was like a Well, I mean, I guess a bird, but a dog, you know, when it gets a hold of a nasty little, rabbit, or, you know, a really, really icky looking gnome, and just shakes it back and forth. Yeah, it's Big Bird. She was doing that in the air. And she was shooting like laser beams or something out of her eyes.
Whoa.
I know, it was sick. It was absolutely stellar. But then the lightning cut the line. And Wilf just went flying up in there. And she had her guns and she was blasting. And then she ran out of bullets. And then she had a knife, like you do.
Of course.
She was stabbing. And then when, she got tired of stabbing, she hopped on the bird. And they went metal. But Wilf disappeared. Oh, I remember seeing her. And the bird flew away. And we had to run. The things on the ground were getting too thick. And we were all herded up.
What were the things on the ground exactly?
Hannah, who's been standing here cross-armed, just listening very attentively. That's an aether storm. It's like a miniature version of what happened, back in the day. Except nothing good comes out of it. It's all bad stuff from like an in-between space, a dark space. It turns people into things. It turns animals into monsters.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Those things they were running over, those were mutants. Well, they were mutants. It's a whole thing. Anyway, the thing about mutants is they're not necessarily tougher or scarier than people, aside from the fact that their skin's dripping all over the place and back and forth. And, they hate, and that's all they do, really.
Oh.
But, like, you can shoot them dead. So, I mean, our friends here probably took out a lot of them, but the storms are pretty bad. It's not normal lightning. It's not earth lightning. It doesn't have anything to do with us in our home. It's not even really coming out of the sky. It's coming out of the ether. It's coming out of elsewhere.
Dang.
Does any of this track with stories my parents and the clan elders would have told us? Would have told me?
I think your parents and elders would have known about the ether because it's almost the opposite of. It really is kind of ontologically the opposite of the Fae. They don't necessarily know that as deeply, but there's an instinctual kind of antipathy between the Fae and the ether.
Okay, so that might explain these guys' reaction, because everything sounded so fucking metal. You'd think they'd still be cheering despite the damage. But yeah. Ooh, that
so
ain't
it was
good.
it was a big fight, basically. Like goblins are pretty antithetical to the ether as well. Goblins are very about life and celebrating that with every second, whereas the ether is very much it's unlife. It's one of the many sources of undeath.
I sure hope that's not in the same direction your car went.
Oh,
Yeah.
guys in my car. They won't believe me until I can show how cool it is. Hey, you guys, look, this damage is going to take a bit to fix up. If you guys want, you can go to you can go to the beam. My clan it'll give you some space to fix it up. If you can head to Chicago.
Well, I can't make any more decisions. I mean, I have to wait for Stax to wake up. He's the leader. He's got the brains. And he drives the nicest car. But, maybe. Right now, we just need a place to rest up.
Yeah.
could tell there was a town right over there.
Yeah, man.
I can help. I can help with repairs as needed. I'm not much for fixing up people, but don't mind me saying so. I'm pretty good with the engineering type stuff, especially if you've got anything that goes boom.
No, I don't. Well, I appreciate that. I don't really have that many. I did all right. I got me big shooter here, and I just got just a big, just one big cut across me bum. So I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, we just need somewhere to rest. That'd be nice. Hey, I recognize you. He points to Hannah. Hey, do you think do you think we could crash on your sidewalks or whatever?
Come on, Hannah. That'd be cool.
I mean, they helped out us. We helped out Theodore. Kind of, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, I'll talk to my dad when we get back, but I'm not going to wait for permission, obviously. Just come on along with us.
Yeah, that also
Sweet.
works.
Yeah. We'll at least get these vehicles of yours limping a little faster than they were.
Well, we can make it. You all only traveled about like less than a mile. They were in vehicles, so they were traveling farther.
Sure.
So yeah, they can follow you back to town if that's what we're looking at.
Yeah,
here.
I think that makes sense. Kind of trying to up the vibe a little bit, trying to find something to stick into the DJ's music box.
And as you approach the edge of town, which is very quickly, like you barely left town to meet up with them.
Right. No, yeah, we just rolled down the hill.
Kids come flooding out of the houses, like cheering and whatnot for these goblins, especially the ones that, were on the bus. And, when they see how hurt, all these gobos are, it's these, little kids who, have seen a lot of violence and their parents have just been returned to them, comforting these goblins. Some of, the older children can actually pick up some of the smaller goblins and carry them around and, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
Hannah's mom comes out of the house with, in full, whites. She's got a double-breasted, super awesome science whites. And
Science!
And, a doctor's bag. And, has clearly summoned a few people who have wheelbarrows into which, multiple injured goblins can be fit. And draws them, basically leads them towards the opposite end of town from Hannah's house cul-de-sac to where the biggest building is being rebuilt. It has a roof now, but it doesn't have its machinery in it yet. So
Well, I really hope that we can. Yeah, no, Lou starts, trying to guide the more damaged vehicles toward the garage, where Hannah's dad works on stuff, trying to get them lined out in an organized, more desperate fashion versus whatever the most need is and to the least need.
And yeah, Hannah's dad is, he comes out, he at first, there's just you and this group of vehicles kind of pulling up next to, out front, and this, garage bay door opens and there's Hannah's dad, in his usual jorts and t-shirt and flippy floppies. And then the door closes, just and then it opens up back again about a minute later with him pulling on a full coverall. I'm going to give the three of you time to consult as a party while I use the little DM's room, BioBrick.
Indeed.
And actually, this is a thing I like to do. This is a good way for you to spring surprises on me, is having time alone.
Uh-huh.
So...
All right, so I'm going to take my clothes off. No, I'm just kidding. What?
Don't do it.
So I mean, yeah. I think Noodles would be like, guys, I just
Gotta get my car.
guys, I gotta get my car back.
Okay.
I can't compete with this, even like they are.
I mean, the car sounds like it would help a lot.
It really
does,
would.
yeah.
Either that or I start throwing grenades, and that didn't go well last time.
Yeah, I'm
apparently
not a fan
that's
of
not
the
way to get a date.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so. But no,
I don't
yeah.
know. I was just maybe trying to date the wrong people, but
How does one stop an aether storm? That's kind of out of our pay grade, right? Like,
what? I mean,
I'm here for bikers.
Yeah, we just kind of deal with racists and assholes. Mystical storms is not our thing, but we kind of have had. See, all the mystical people we've met have usually been on our side.
Yeah, also, they all left.
They did, which does not
I
help.
don't know. Like I say, I'm good at talking, I'm good at explosions, and I'm good at driving my hamster ball. That's all I got.
I could do this, and I do a kickflip.
It's like if I drove in a circle really fast, I would like make a wind, and it would be fucking metal.
You'd have to go really fast.
I know.
As long as I'm not riding along with you, I'm okay with this plan.
Yeah.
You
Well-
wouldn't exactly fit in the hamster ball.
No, we'd stay out. We'd stay out.
Perfect. We can't even be in there. I'm
I'm
happy
afraid
with
I
whatever you want.
physically. You could possibly wear it as a very large hat.
All right.
Very large, but
Very
still,
large hat.
you're not fitting in there.
Yeah, no. So, okay, DM, the plan we've come up with is we don't know how to fight an aether storm, so we're gonna get the goblin ball and we're gonna roll around really quickly to create a wind. That's plan A.
That's insane, and I love it. The storm is gone. The storm,
Ah,
yeah, it dissipated. That's why I was
but
trying
the
to say.
zombies are out there.
Whatever
we could
those are, yeah.
We could also roll over. We could also just see the thing about the hamster ball. If I can kind of like, you know,
Yeah, no, it'd be good. That's what I'm saying. We got to have this hamster ball before we go rolling into these zombos.
What's your current location in town?
in town. I don't know.
We're just outside of Hannah's house, I believe, with the convoy, right?
Yeah, because we were sitting
We
there.
don't
We
really
were standing outside talking while the garage was getting loaded. With the most damaged vehicle.
Yeah, as Lou was kind of triaging the vehicles, I will be triaging the goblins themselves.
Yeah, I would also be triaging vehicles while we're talking. Like,
Okay, so yeah, Lou is working with Hannah's dad, and Noodles is meeting Hannah's dad, who is a not particularly tall. He's a man square. Hannah's dad. He's if you take the idea of a human Dorito and just widen out the base a little bit, that's what's going on there. And he's not real tall. There's a lot of right angles on this guy. He looks like he would do a Facebook video from the front seat of a car whilst wearing wraparound sunglasses. But like, he's kind of sweet. He's kind of a nice guy. He's just like, oh wow, oh, this is intense. And yeah, like his response to seeing all these vehicles, unprompted, unbidden, is to, throw on the coveralls and get ready to do work. And yeah, he's checking under the hoods of cars and, this kind of thing. And he seems to be a little out of his depth.
But yeah, Goblin Tech's a little wacky.
yeah, I also kind of imagine that there's a major adult human walking around Power Wheels kind of vibe going on.
Well, I mean, some of these goblins are driving, full-sized, like GMC vans, and and then there's some go-karts and dune buggies and stuff like that. But these goblins are perfectly capable of modifying a vehicle to work for them. And so
I think that one started as an actual Power Wheels made out of metal.
I didn't actually think of that. I never considered that some of these goblins might be driving Power Wheels. I'm jealous of these goblins. Anyway, but yeah, and there are times where Hannah's dad himself is like looking at some of these vehicles, and there's a twinkle in his eye over just this machinery, like, and he seems to kind of, not instinctively, but just with that practiced, cultivated understanding of engines, of cars, from decades worth of experience. He has familiarity with that, and he's reaching in and pulling a piece out and being like, ooh. But it's the damage, the types of damage done to these vehicles, and some of the materials left on these vehicles that he doesn't know what to do. You see him, get up close to a bumper that seems to have been partially corroded, and he gets up close and does one of these, the science waft, and then puts on some heavy gauntlet gloves and starts doing some of the jostling this bumper in opposite directions until it just snaps and it's not his strength, but just how badly this bumper is compromised by whatever has burnt it. And he's wandering around, and he's partially thrilled, partially very much in the zone, and again, partially kind of out of his element. And a little bit of that around Power Wheels, but goblins aren't rare. So this gentleman has probably met a few in his life. He's got that 50-something-year-old high crew cut, and it's silver, it's steel gray, and his hipster glasses. He's in his years, he's seen some goblins, he's seen some goblin cars.
Excellent.
So what you got here is impact damage, pointing to the same vehicles, acid damage. That's ion. That's full electricity right there. That's lightning. I knew goblins were mostly immune to disease, but lightning strikes, that's a weird one for me. I'll let it go. I guess it doesn't really matter. I can just, I can tack weld what I need to back on, but we're going to be missing some parts for some of these things for a while. We got a couple more weeks. Walter better, might as well. He'll likely be back next week. But I don't know. Are the friends okay? Are the goblins okay? What was that, Lou?
I said, if we were to just get these cars limping, I think they'll be happy. Most of the goblins seem pretty cool. They seem happy. I believe one that we met is kind of gone, and she had a cool adventure though.
How to help them get, because Noodles is obviously like physical injuries, whatever that happens, but goblins losing their panache, that is rare. So can Noodles see if she can, like, you know what? Noodles looks deep into herself, and she thinks that it is time for a sermon.
Okay.
I would like Noodles is going to I'm going to look for something tall that I can stand up on, that I can be seen by all the goblins. If there's nothing close to hand, I will climb my teammates.
There is an old timey village well with the little steepled top right out in front of Hannah's house. So it's pretty much.
I'm going to climb up it, And I'm going to do the coolest pose I can on top of it. One leg up, super dramatic.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Full on.
Freddie
Hear
Mercury.
me, my people. Yeah. Freddie Mercury style. That is it.
And yeah, and Hannah's dad leans over to well, Noah went to the building where people were being taken care of, which is at the opposite side of town from Lou and Noodles. So keep that in mind. So Hannah's dad leans over to Lou. Is this normal?
I don't know. We just kind of met Noodles, but she's really been talking about this sermon since we met her, and I feel like she's doing a good job. I kind of want to hear it.
I mean, it's Wednesday. I got time.
Yeah,
DM,
I mean,
never
it's
fully went
safe.
over. DM, can we say that I have some sparklers?
Well, I'm sure that these goblins had sparklers, and goblins just
I
kind of believe in-
am going to use the top of the well, and I'm going to light a handful of sparklers. Goblins!
and instantly they're like, yeah.
So's Lou. Yeah.
Where is your panache, my brothers and my sisters?
One of them, I broke my panache.
Then you should sit down, because I'm going to get you back up on your feet.
I didn't know my panache was in my feet. And the goblin
Your
sits down.
But my kindred and everybody else in this little town, you know how sometimes your life sucks?
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes the world is just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you know what you gotta do?
We blow it out.
Because sometimes the world is too full of crap for you to think you're awesome into.
Yeah. Definitely.
What you gotta
Yeah.
do, and she's gonna take her grenade and she is gonna hold it up. The pin is in. The pin is still in.
Mhm.
Oh.
You gotta blow shit up.
Yeah.
I had a vision. Do you know what started the universe and all the universes?
There was a turtle.
I heard it was a bunch of cats.
It was an explosion. It was the
Oh.
biggest explosion that has ever happened or ever will happen.
Whoa.
That's a big explosion.
The old-time humans, they called it the Big Bang. But it wasn't a bang. It was more than a bang. It was a boom. And that
Boom.
boom is still going on.
Whoa.
So
Loudon?
whenever life sucks, you can tap into the force of that boom. You can join together and you can blow up, figuratively or literally, anything that is standing in your way and keeping you down.
Yeah. Woo. Kickflip.
Do you hear me?
Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and I'm gonna just do. I'm trying to get them back on their feet. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'm
I need
trying
a-
to
I
get
need a
some
roll
metal
here. I
back.
need,
I'm gonna be. I want to see a mosh pit.
You have mostly injured goblins, but let's see here. What were you specific? God, hair tie. Oh, but to be a white girl and have hair ties everywhere. Oh, there's one. What specifically are you trying to do mechanically? Help me out here, because it is dice time. It's dice 30.
Yeah, I'm thinking. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna reach and I'm gonna start throwing out unlit sparklers into the crowd, And basically, because these goblins look like they were having serious morale issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't think about what do I want to happen mechanically. I do. Okay, I'm going to throw out sparklers, and I'm going to say, if you feel this can help you, light your sparklers, and we will join in the big boom.
So as the sparklers fly out and start to descend, they reach their zenith and start to arc down. Of course, a small I don't want to say infestation, but a small carpet of juvenile, foot tall diapered goblins kind of and picks up some, like catches them in midair. And then other ones you see grown goblins like fighting them for it, and then kind of doing the thing. And then slowly the sparklers are lit in this rain. So that's a little weird, but strangely enough, the last rays of evening sunshine are shining down on you and the crowd out there. And there's a clearing of the rain around you, as though the rain machines aren't pouring directly onto these goblins trying to use their lighters and sparklers. And you can hear faintly from just a block away Todd's voice. Oh God, I hope I have enough clean glasses.
And yeah, I want to restore their panache.
And there's a shroomin, a little shroomy boy walking around the crowd. You see with a fellow. This one has a very, red and white rounded cap. And there's another one with a kind of one of those pointy, wrinkly caps. It's a little bit more lanky. And they're kind of walking around, helping light up these sparklers. And yeah, these goblins are getting their panache back. Panache. But it's still pretty subdued compared to what these two, Noah and Lou would recognize from a goblin party. But you yourself are satisfied with it for sure.
I'm probably going to say, look, you're hurt, so you got to rest. But don't forget, you're fucking cool.
And you are in that moment directly addressing this kind of, I don't know quite. There's something of the rhesus monkey to this lady goblin's face, but she's in an adorable little shopkeep maid's dress. And you will later come to learn that this goblin lady's name is Taff. And she's like, well, yeah, I'm very cool. I sell crystals and whatnot.
Fuck yeah.
Crystals are cool.
You're gonna sell
Everybody knows
crystals,
that.
you're gonna get your cars fixed up. And you're gonna go back out and be awesome. And you're gonna tell people about the big boom.
And so, yeah, you observe that they're getting ready. So you feel like you can probably dismount the
I'm gonna
well.
This is idiotic, but I would like to try and do a backflip off the well.
Okay, I am gonna need a dex test.
Would that be straight dex, or is that going to be acrobatics?
Yeah, acrobatics. Yeah.
Cool. I'm not proficient in acrobatics.
Well,
12.
yeah. Okay. I'm gonna pretend this is Morkborg, so that's a success. We were just there last week.
It's not spectacular, but I also don't fall on my face.
No, you do the thing, and you land, and there's a squelching, like your shoes get stuck in the mud. But that's fine. It helps kind of stick it, literally. And Lou, you're standing there. She's just done her backflip dismount, and Tormund, the catman, who's been next to you this whole side, leans over. Is there a bar here?
Is there a bar here? What do you think I've been doing the last few weeks? Come on, Todd. Todd, you're going to need more stools.
No. And so Tormund kind of, and his hand's a little higher now as he's pumping his fist in the air. There's no music still, but he goes over to the monster boat, the party boat, the fun V, and pulls out a giant speaker. And well, it's a boombox. It's a ghetto blaster. It's a giant box there for special occasions. And over to Todd's bar, and Todd's just like 1950s fade away, fade out, monster kill. And all the other goblins, the mobile goblins follow Tormund into the bar where there's much racket. Noah, you are at what used to be basically the copper wire spooling building. It was torn. It was torn the hell apart when the gatekeepers and mercs showed up months ago, and it has been one of the major reconstruction projects. It doesn't. There is still the machinery in there, which is largely slagged, actually, unfortunately, but no longer smoking or anything like that. But it's got a nice open floor, concrete floor, and all that kind of thing, and plenty of space. And that's where you're kind of running medical triage with Hannah's mom, whose name is written down in another notebook. So yeah, you're doing the triage. You're doing important doctor stuff. But what specifically do you do? And you hear some shouting from outside. It sounds like a rousing speech. And then subtly some public enemy from down the street.
The bass drops.
But yeah.
So yeah, mostly I'm going to be looking to see how many of these goblins actually have severe injuries and how many of them are just kind of bruised up and whatnot, because it sounds like this happened a while ago that they were attacked.
The impression you get is that it was a couple days. They would have been here sooner, except a lot of their vehicles were. All right. I've just been informed that we're having a technical difficulty with our internet connection. Are we still communicating?
I'm still getting everything good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. Excellent. Maybe it's our Twitch connection. We'll find out. But the game must go on. But so some of these, the ones that were simply bruised or beat up, are clearly kind of with that other crowd outside, getting up to whatever they're getting up to. These in here it's a couple big handfuls of actually injured people, individuals. Goblins are people. And Stax, the leader, the greaser goblin, is he's having himself arrest. He, you noticed clearly that he had the bite and the break and everything. And everybody else that's in here is about that injured. They've lost a lot of blood, or they have, a limb injury or break, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm mostly going to be going and making sure that arms are set correctly, and making sure that there's any wound that's been bandaged is bandaged properly and cleaned out. But you said pretty much all of them had appeared to have clean injuries.
Yeah, in terms of infection and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like nobody's got gangrene or anything like that. That's a goblin thing. They can definitely bleed out over
Right.
time, but yeah, infections kind of they're very just bouncy from that. I mean, and a lot of these goblins are still kind of walking around and just having a chit chat, even though their hands facing the wrong way and shit like that. Like, it's kind of a thing about goblins. They have that weird, youthful, infinite life ahead of me kind of. Yeah. And so a lot of it is like, you know, getting them to ignore the fact that you're twisting their hand from the wrong direction back to the right and setting it that way. Yeah. Anything you're specifically interested in amongst these?
I want to hear about the whole attack, like any additional details, specifically kind of focused on the mutants.
Okay. Well, eventually you find a goblin that seems very familiar, and you see them, and you kind of get like a hunger pang, and you're not sure if that's because it's 5, it's after dinner time, it's right there, or if you associate them with food. And it's a little ripped boy. He's just a little unit. And yeah, you approach him, and yeah, like, what do you ask?
Hey, do you remember us at all? Because I have a feeling. Did you serve up the beefalo?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah.
And this goblin fully has like a 10-inch bolt just driven through one of its shoulders. Yeah. You liked it, right?
All right. Yeah, it was wonderful. It was amazing. It was so good. I'm gonna fix your shoulder there because that definitely needs a lot surgery, probably multiple surgeries. That looks bad. But so what can you tell us about what happened? Because we just kind of got a weird sort of story, and there was red rain and all kinds of crazy things happening.
Oh, hey, we have another executive producer.
Oh,
We'll be fully funded at any time now. What happened?
Yeah.
Ether Storm.
Yeah, we heard that part.
Eh?
But can you give details, like what caused how did that get into your shoulder?
Oh, that's probably the wind. Are you gonna do you have a wrench?
It'll be a little bit more surgical than that.
Why?
I'm not just gonna screw it out of your. I mean, so you don't get injured more. There's a science to this.
Oh. I'll be damned. Yeah, so the rain was blood, which it's pretty brutal. We appreciate that, and so we're like, "Ooh, yeah, it's red in blood. Let's go! Let's fly around. It's intense." And then I caught this thing right here. Torvu, he was beset by some sort of nasty man with like a melty face and chest, and Torval just bit his face right off. You look at him, and he's a small guy, and it's whatever. He's just a little cat man, but that bite strength is whoa. But so he bit that guy's face off and tossed him to the side, but that guy's body broke Tormund's arm, and Tormund didn't like that. That's why he's not partying like usual. And then Wilf was up there in the air. I don't know. That storm was going for a while. I was going for weeks. Y'all saw it.
Did we see it at all?
You did see it, in fact.
Okay. Yeah. It was pretty intense.
I don't know why you tall folk you get all upset about an ether storm, but you don't go clean it up yourselves. But we didn't know, so maybe you didn't know. I don't know. But you're marshals. You're supposed to know things.
Yeah, we didn't really know it was an ether storm. Plus, we've been dealing with everybody in this town who was enslaved for the last few months and
enslaved.
And yeah, it seems like something else happened, but I don't really entirely remember.
You been drinking?
Well, yes, obviously, but I know my drink.
I don't know. It's one time, a couple years back, I drank a bunch and I forgot math. I don't build cars no more.
Well,
I just do the cooking.
Hey, and you're great at that. So
I know, right? You just
it works out.
But so it was raining blood, and these monsters came out of lightning. But we had a lot of cars, and we ran over a bunch of the monsters. But then there were more monsters in the sky, and the sky monsters were bigger. But then there was a big bird up there, and the big bird was tearing apart the big monsters. And then Wilf was up there on the big bird, and they were shooting lightning in like lasers and stuff at the monsters and throwing explosions. And it was pretty impressive. And then Wilf disappeared, and then, well, we had to run away.
So what were the monsters like? The ones on the ground? What did they look like?
They were goopy. It's like if you made if you made a tall folk out of wax, out of candles, and then you lit the candle, but you didn't let it burn the top of the head, but it went all down the side of it. That's what they looked like.
Okay, what about the sky monsters?
Well, they were dripping everywhere also. I think that's part of the red.
So they were kind of big red melty wax.
Well, no, some of them were, they're mostly people and animal colored, but then the red came out of them, like it does.
Right. Okay. So they were people and animal colored with blood, but they were kind of waxy.
Yeah, they're mutants.
Oozy. Yeah. So you've seen them before?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They pretty common?
I mean, your word's busted.
But yes.
I mean, it's a nice word. I'm not calling it a shithole. It doesn't need to comb its hair over its bald spot or nothing, but it's just you got mutants.
Right. That's gonna suck.
I mean, you got mutants, you got bullets. It's basically just a body.
Yeah, I suppose so.
We weren't ready for mutants. We thought we were going in for just some good old windsurfing, maybe losing somebody to some debris flying around in the winds and whatnot, or fist fighting a dragon. Turns out it wasn't a dragon. It was a big bird.
Yeah, about that big bird. What can you tell me about it?
It seemed like a ladybird. She was like, kind of boring looking. What she was doing was rad. It was, but I mean, it was blue. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah.
So it was a giant bird that was blue.
Yeah. Sounded like she was yelling.
Like bird noises or?
No, like a beaver, though. When they cuss you out?
No. But
I could have sworn we talked about this before. Yeah, it's like
it could talk.
Well, it could cuss us out at least. I mean, it didn't cuss us out, but I feel like it could have. I don't know what it was saying. It sounded poetic, but it definitely it didn't talk like us.
But it didn't just make bird noises like a bird would.
No, that'd be boring.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, let's get that screw out of your arm.
Yeah. Ah. Yeah, just the brief squeak, and then out like a light. Let's see here. So the Goblin Party has packed into Todd's. They're very politely avoiding everything else. Like they might be on the sidewalks, which are, you know, boardwalk plank style, old westy. But they're very conscientious about respecting these boundaries and whatnot, you know, because this bar is only a couple of storefronts away from the chemist / barber / pharmacist. And they're like, there's drugs in there. And they're not even, they know that. They can clearly read. And they're not going in there. They're not like getting up to no good.
That's some incredible restraint.
And Noodles, you know this. You recognize this. That's just etiquette. Goblins have kind of a community property thing going on amongst themselves, but they recognize that tall folk don't necessarily do that. When tall folk go and take and use somebody else, another tall folk stuff, that's what they'd like to call stealing. And tall folks don't like stealing. So, you know, just as a when in Rome kind of thing.
Well, Lou is in the bar backing, I guess, trying to help out Todd and serve as many of these people as possible.
And Tormund has set up this boom box.
Yeah.
And it's now in full.
Absolutely.
And many of the goblins are kind of doing a little, a little dance. Most of them are just nibbling on tiny sandwiches. You know, this is just kind of a comfortable communal space type thing. Goblins aren't huge drinkers, so you know the booze isn't really flying, but there's enough to.
But the tiny sandwiches are like understocked. There's no way we have enough tiny sandwiches.
Right. You're bar backing, but really what you do is cutting the crusts off of tuna fish, you know, or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and cutting them into quarters and putting little toothpicks in them and stuff like that.
So I shout to Noodles, who I think is in the bar with me. Is that correct?
Yeah, I am literally dancing on a table, but it's just so I can be at eye level for the talls.
Sure. Yeah. So, like, I don't know if we decided or not, but I think we got to get your car. But then we probably should keep an eye out for the gooey dudes.
What?
You're doing great.
And she'll just continue to dance until she falls asleep on her feet.
Okay. So sleepy time for Noodles. And everybody else, obviously, all the other goblins are beat up. So they're going to very soon after follow, if not start passing out amongst each other's feet. Eventually, there's just a carpet of goblins snoring in Todd's bar. And it is 9 p.m. It is not late at all. And
well,
Lou,
I mean, she's probably going to wake up a little bit after they all doze up. Sorry, I was having fun.
You know what? Falling asleep at 9 p.m. is perfectly reasonable for this group of people. They probably need your example because these two have been up way too late most of their adult lives. Lou. So yeah, there's all these, and it's adorable little cartoon possum snore whistle carpet of goblins in there. It does not smell. It smells earthy.
Yeah.
Like you smell mud.
Yeah.
Very, and peat.
Sure. Probably smell myself more than I smell these people.
I mean, you've had access to plumbing this whole time. So
Yeah, but why would I? It's a waste. That water needs to be distributed appropriately. Bathing.
fair. So yeah. And Todd is kind of satisfied, like he's just kind of tiptoeing over goblins and collecting little wooden plates on which, just little tiny plates on which tiny sandwiches were, and collecting trinkets and coins and whatnot from outside of the goblins' pockets, as payment, because he noticed that most of the goblins didn't like slap dollar bills on the counter or anything. Some of them did, but for the most part, they just kind of ordered and whatnot. So Todd is just kind of putting currency on the top of this ever-growing stack of tiny plates, and then, coming back around the bar. What are you up to?
Me, Lou?
Mm-hmm.
Looking to go check in with Noah, I suppose. And
All right.
Noodles is passed out, safe. I know Noodles is safe with Todd.
She's kind of like on her back, and one leg is kind of kicking.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
Kind of in opposite time with Tormund's, cat sleeping, kicking
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah. We're almost sleep fighting, but not quite.
From like 25 feet apart. Yeah.
So yeah, I go check in with Noah to see how he's doing with the doctoring.
All right, Noah. So yeah, some hours have passed since everything I just described in the conversation. It's now 9-ish. And these injured goblins and assorted humanoids are sedated or otherwise sleeping off their long, rough journey and their injuries. And Hannah's mom into the, her gloves into the shop garbage can. Well, that's about all we can do.
Yeah.
You you made yourself quite a doctor while you've been here.
Well, thank you. I tried.
I'm gonna go home and hopefully have some of my husband's cooking and some of his cooking and have myself some rest. I can't invite you to that, but I hope you have a good night.
Oh, I will. I'm gonna go get drunk, I think. Yeah. That sounds like a good idea here.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I'm gonna head down to the bar and probably run into Lou on the way.
Yeah, you basically like bump into Lou as he leaves, as he steps out the bat wings. And you can hear tiny goblin snorings, but there's still some murmurings of music, and you can see in through the door Todd's still cleaning some glasses, and he's still doing his thing behind the bar.
We just grab a bottle and go get drunk down on the hill.
Yeah, that works. It's been a long day.
Hell yeah. We gotta figure out what we're gonna do with these people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
So-
goblins for one day.
You head down to the hill, wherever that is geographically.
Yeah.
You're building my town for me.
The hill.
I appreciate that.
The hill.
The hill.
I love it.
Everyone
I love
knows the hill.
We're gonna say that this hill is the same hill that y'all mounted with Hannah to watch the goblins approach.
Yeah, that's
And
what I was imagining.
It's the
Yeah.
same gradual hill that you were skating on.
Yeah.
DM
Further
tips.
down
Just put it all together. And when you get there,
You build a pinball course there.
you could
You could probably build it on the hill. Yeah.
an explosive pinball course. Maybe it might be in the near future. But when you two reach the top of the hill, you find a familiar individual. A freckled, redheaded, short young lady who you traveled with.
Oh yeah,
The authoritative Sister Superior.
Sister Superior, of course.
And she has herself a couple bottles of drink with her. And she turns and looks over her shoulder. Back at it, huh? And that is a session.
Wah, bah, 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 bah.
Thanks for joining us. I hope any junior marshals give us a thumbs up, a like, a follow. And we'll see you next week. Same inherited time, same Goblin channel.